Lessons from the Kauravas' downfall in the Mahabharata. Join me as I dive into the Mahabharata and figure out what we can learn from the Kauravas' epic failure. Can I uncover the lessons that still apply today? The Kauravas from the Mahabharata are one of the most fascinating and complex groups of characters in Indian mythology. They're the sons of Dhritarashtra, the king of Hastinapura, and their story is a tale of power, greed, and ultimately, downfall. As we explore their story, we'll uncover the lessons that can be learned from their failures and how they can still be applied today. The Kauravas faced several key challenges that contributed to their downfall. One of the main issues was their internal conflicts. The brothers were never united in their goals, and their infighting and jealousy towards each other created cracks in their armor. For instance, Duryodhana, the eldest brother, was jealous of the Pandavas and their success, and this jealousy drove many of his decisions. If the Kauravas had been able to put aside their differences and work together, they may have been able to overcome the Pandavas and avoid their ultimate defeat. Another challenge the Kauravas faced was their failure in judgment. They often let their emotions cloud their decision-making, leading to catastrophic consequences. For example, when Duryodhana refused to give the Pandavas their rightful share of the kingdom, it led to a chain reaction of events that ultimately led to the Great War of Kurukshetra. If the Kauravas had been able to make more rational and just decisions, they may have been able to avoid the devastating consequences that followed. The Kauravas' failure in judgment was also evident in their treatment of others. They often mistreated and disrespected those around them, including the Pandavas, Krishna, and even their own family members. This not only created enemies, but it also eroded the trust and loyalty of those who were supposed to be their allies. If the Kauravas had treated others with kindness and respect, they may have been able to build stronger relationships and alliances that could have helped them in their time of need. Additionally, the Kauravas' arrogance and overconfidence also played a significant role in their downfall. They were so convinced of their own superiority that they underestimated the strength and determination of the Pandavas. They thought they could easily defeat the Pandavas and get away with their unjust actions, but in the end, their arrogance proved to be their undoing. One of the most pivotal events that led to the Kauravas' failure was the infamous dice game. In this game, Duryodhana and his uncle, Shakuni, manipulated the rules to cheat the Pandavas out of their kingdom and wealth. This event not only showcased the Kauravas' lack of integrity, but it also marked the beginning of the end of their reign. The Pandavas were forced to go into exile, and the Kauravas' actions ultimately led to the Great War of Kurukshetra. The War of Kurukshetra was another significant event that exemplified the Kauravas' epic failure. Despite having a larger army and more powerful allies, the Kauravas were ultimately defeated by the Pandavas. This defeat was not just a loss of power, but also a loss of dignity and honor. The Kauravas' failure on the battlefield was a direct result of their own actions and decisions, and it marked the end of their reign and the beginning of a new era. The Battle of Kurukshetra and its aftermath were particularly significant because they highlighted the consequences of the Kauravas' actions. The war resulted in the deaths of millions of people and the destruction of entire cities and communities. The Kauravas' failure to consider the consequences of their actions led to one of the most devastating wars in Indian mythology. If the Kauravas had been able to think about the long-term effects of their decisions, they may have been able to avoid the devastation that followed. The outcome of the war also showcased the Kauravas' lack of remorse and accountability. Even in defeat, they refused to accept responsibility for their actions, and instead blamed others for their downfall. This lack of accountability was a hallmark of the Kauravas' leadership, and it ultimately led to their downfall. The story of the Kauravas serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of ethical leadership and unity. Their failure to work together, to make just decisions, and to treat others with respect and kindness led to their downfall. As we reflect on their story, we can learn valuable lessons about the importance of leadership, accountability, and integrity. So, what do you think are the most important lessons we can learn from the Kauravas story? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to check out my other videos on epic tales and their lessons.